So once upon a time, me and my beautiful son were on a plane. He's a contortionist, you know. As you see to the right of me, he's demonstrating his abilities right now by putting his head so far in between his legs, his spine is actually out of place. As we sit on our private plane, we look around us and actually notice there is nobody else on the plane. We also realize that the clouds from the beginning of Simpsons, which go, "The Simpsons," have also decided to join us outside. All of a sudden, as things go a bit crazy, I look forwards and realize that there is a film called Necklace that has 4 out of 5 stars. That kind of film with that name would not get 4 out of 5 stars, and all of a sudden, to top that off, the front of the plane collapses and flies straight off the plane. Well, that's strange. I didn't know I was playing Bioshock again. All of a sudden, me and my son are praying for dear life, crashing down, me not showing any emotion whatsoever, and my son barely showing any emotion himself, crash down to the ground. And upon hitting the ground, I wake to find my son stolen by a nearby tribal member. And apparently, as I go out throughout the game, there's apparently 30 survivor dead bodies I'm meant to find, even though apparently all of them fucked off and left me. I'm not going to remorse over them, am I? As I awoke from my journey, I decided to search around the plane a little bit. I searched forwards and found the axe, which is quite handy, as for some strange reason the survivors also decided to leave that. I found some cans of drink, I found some food, I kept myself going, but as I went to the back of the plane, I happened to see a strange pair of feet, thought I would jump on them to investigate further. And as I jumped on them, I actually found myself outside of the plane. As I came off the plane, I accidentally slipped, fell off the plane, and died on impact, and found myself woken up in a strange cave. As I looked around the cave, I was a bit very, very confused about exactly where I was. I'd seen on some other people's videos that actually they had discovered this cave in different ways. Every time they had woken up here, they had found themselves in a very, very illustrious, different, good place. They, often found themselves enjoying new treats, they found new weapons, new different stuff, an easy way to get out without a single enemy in their way. Whereas every time I woke up there, this first time I woke up there anyway, I woke up to find these 2 strange monsters in front of them, trying to whack this female-looking monster. I assumed it was some kind of mating ritual, and before I knew, and before I could even get involved, I'd already been bummed from behind from some random other tribals, knowing why they call it Cannibal Holocaust. As I explored the plane a bit more this time, upon actually surviving to get out the plane this time without dying on impact of the actual ground for some reason, smouldering my entire body and burning me to a crisp, I happened to look around and happened to explore some of the luggage which some people had left behind. And I found it very unusual that everybody had decided to pack the exact same things over and over again. I assumed they were having a big sale on cloth, candy bars, and tennis balls for some fucking reason. And tennis balls are probably one of the most annoying things throughout the entire game. And for some strange reason, if you click the mouse button just enough times, you will launch about 4 tennis balls when you only had 1 in your hand. As you wander around the island, you fall off different kind of objects, like say if you fall off a rock, or you fall off from a high distance that we found as we got off the bloody plane, we often hear our man make a strange, unusual noise, especially upon eating a poisonous berry or some kind. He often makes a But to be fair, the noise is so unusual and so strange, a lot of the time you're a lot more scared of them than you actually are of the tribals trying to chase you around the area. Upon exploring the island even further, I actually happened to find a nice little river in which I wanted to call my home. Upon resting in the river and actually having explored through my survival book, I actually found that we could actually build some rafts. I thought the rafts would be quite cool, that can actually give me a quicker way to explore the place as well. Upon actually building 2 rafts, I found out that they are both absolute piles of doo-doo. And apparently they cannot do a single thing besides give you an option to stand on them, and that's about it. So there's completely no use to doing it whatsoever. But, you know, what can you do? Upon making these rafts, each and every time, both the times I made one, either as soon as I made it, it straight away flipped over and failed, or both the other time I actually tried to make one and I got on it and it flipped over and failed again. Didn't really understand exactly what the whole point of them was, but what can I say? After failing of building a raft, I actually decided that it'd probably be best to actually start making a place to stay or a place to sleep. So I thought, you know what, I'm not going to stick with a small little survival shelter or a hunting shelter. I'm going to go straight for a log cabin, because it's me, I have to live in class, okay? So I decided to build a big log cabin, knowing this would take 84 logs to build. Whilst building this, I actually decided to build this halfway up a hill. I actually discovered my character had the ability to fly, or should I say swim, in midair. As for some strange reason, as you wandered around, for some reason, all of a sudden, the ground or the water would for some reason rise to you, but it's going to be invisible water for some strange reason, and you would float above the air doing some weird swimming motion, which really did confuse some of the tribals when they saw me. They really did not know how to react to that. But after a while, I eventually figured out that I actually was able to still build my majority of my log cabin without having to worry about this air swimming business to actually interrupt on it too much. So I continued on, and I found out that I actually did have a majority of the right amount of logs around me, so I started chopping down some trees. And as I chopped down some trees, I realised that my book, in which I was actually reading off, the survival book, really wasn't a book for survival, more a book for completely abandoning your life and moving out to a different location. I mean, this book is literally must be sold for people who want this kind of situation to happen, who wants to move away. And you just got to realise that this book is just meant for people to think, hey, you know what, I'm just gonna live on this island, I'm not going to worry about getting rescued or anything. So it's not an option to build a life raft to try and go signal for help or anything like that. It wasn't like an option to go build, like repair the boat at all and just sail out there. But apparently this book does not need that. You just need to survive and just live on this island for the rest of your eternity. But anyway, whilst chopping down some of the trees, you may actually notice that you can actually pick up 2 logs at a time. I have to admit, this is absolutely insanely impossible to do by yourself, I have to admit, but that's fine, it's a video game, you're allowed to do that. But another interesting thing is while you're actually chopping down the trees, they will actually timber down, they will actually fall down properly. You can actually stand underneath where they're going to fall. If you stand underneath where they fall, they will not hit you, well, they will hit you, they'll sort of like land on your face and just roll off. They won't even impact you in any kind of way or hurt you in any sense. So they literally just roll off your face and you fall down next to you, either to the left or the right of you. But whilst at one point, obviously this game had something against me, I was chopping away at some trees and waiting for them to fall down to build the next part of my log cabin, when all of a sudden a log decided to hit my little toe, not my face like the rest of the logs had and completely brushed off, hit my little toe and launched me in the air, killing me on impact. So for some strange reason, after that I was obviously sent to the abyss and once again had to face the tribals and get killed instantaneously. Upon this time, I actually really start to notice that the death screen of the moments when you do die really gives you a very shining essence to it. With the bright red screen with the white title, it really gives you a very shining essence to the game. It really gives you that like very dramatic like But after that I decided to start again, and this time I was a bit more lucky in where I started off. I started off not far away from the crashed boat. When I say boat, I don't mean the small little rowboat, I mean the sailboat. I went to the sailboat and I actually found a cassette player on there. Now this cassette player has to be the most entertaining thing the entire time. This cassette player apparently gives you more along the lines of energy. I don't fully understand that. I mean, it's understandable that they may pump you up a bit more, maybe a bit more psyched for the day ahead, but that's a bit strange anyway. So the cassette player had become my new friend, and I decided to test it out on some of the locals, but they weren't too pleased with some of my tunes, and, you know, decided to attack me in different kind of ways. So I fled back to my boat and chilled on there for a bit. But upon chilling on my boat, I happened to feel a little bit dizzy. I thought, oh my god, my head is, and I happened to look down, look at my shadow, and God forbid, I had no head. You're right, kids, I had no head whatsoever, and my shadow shows that I had no head. So on my boat, I got very, very confused and started to combine some weapons to try and pass the time and ignore the fact that I had no head. And upon doing this, at one point, I accidentally managed to combine a flare with an axe, and that made for a very interesting combination of just a weird variety for a little bit of a while until I freaked out and threw the flare away. Anyway, but after a while of standing on that boat and realizing that I was comfortable where I was, happy with the food I had, happy with the supplies I had, I started to think on my life and wonder what it's actually become, and I actually realised that where on earth is my son? The boy at the beginning is completely of no use to you or no impact to you from the very beginning till the very end. You have no relation to him whatsoever. There's no point in you at one point, your own character saying to himself, I really need to look for this boy, because you just don't bother about him. You're like, yeah, he'll be fine, he'll be alright with the tribals, he's probably just getting taught how to run the tribe and stuff like that. I don't know if there was ever a point to find out about him or not, but I never got the chance to, and I don't know. I've only been playing this for about 2 hours. Anyway, but upon thinking of this, my thoughts got very depressed, and so I decided to take my own life in the final and the best way I possibly could, to get eaten by sharks. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoyed this random, very, 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 very random episode of Simulator Friday. It's been a very unusual one, because if you guys and gals don't notice, my voice is kind of it's kind of going in a sense, and Not a bad way, I won't go for like a long period of time, I'm sure I'll be able to record in a bit, but it's a bit croaky and I keep coughing in a sense, so I didn't want to do a full Let's Play or like have webcam on, because I didn't really feel like I was in like the big energetic kind of like mood, so I thought I'd leave it for a little while, and I'd just do like this kind of thing, and I'd have like a little like storyline kind of thing. But I hope you guys enjoy this, like my journey through Forest. I actually do really support this game, and I really do think it's a good thing, which if you guys haven't got a chance to play it yet, I do think you guys should play it, but be tedious on buying it. If you know a friend or like 2 friends that want to buy it with you or something like that, like just divide the money between you and only have one of you play it or something like that, and you just sort of like share it amongst you, because if not, then you're gonna kind of like, the game itself it just sort of like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's good, but in the current stage it's at, it just seems to be ruined, if that makes sense. It doesn't seem to be like, it doesn't have the essence there yet, if that makes sense. It doesn't have the full ET about it, but yeah. Obviously, with the game being absolutely beautiful as it is, I imagine they focused on the graphics a lot more than they did about the small bugs. But things are slowly getting fixed, and I do actually have really good faith in this game. I do hope people are able to put money into this game, because it will be really good, and it's going to be really quite cool in the future to see how it's actually going to develop and stuff like that. Especially with it not like taking into account the Minecraft thing with the whole digging underground stuff like that. It's actually just done with the whole like surface kind of thing, a lot like Rust. So it's going to be quite interesting. Anyway, guys and gals, hope you guys enjoyed this video anyway. I know it's been a very random one, but I mean, let me know what you guys did in your first attempt at Forest, because I mean, it's quite, I have really enjoyed this game, and I am really quite enjoying it so far, and hopefully next week I might do a full proper thing on it, because I mean, I didn't really obviously do a proper thing this time, and hopefully we can get up to some more little mischievous situations. But anyway, guys and gals, I'm TheLonesomeRavidor. Once again, you guys are beautiful as ever. C'est la vie, hasta la vista, and goodbye.